After helping so many coaches over the years, I thought it would make sense for me to tell you exactly how you can get your first coaching client, even if you're starting from absolutely nothing. Now, I've helped countless coaching businesses go from 0 to 10K a month and even beyond. So what I'm sharing with you here is not only from my personal experience and my own journey, but also from helping a ton of others. The reason why a new coach can't get a client or usually struggles to get their first client is because they're not really able to use leverage and positioning. And so they're sort of hunting, they're asking, they're really trying to get the client. And this puts you in the position where you are needy. And being needy is repulsive. So a common solution to that is then, okay, make a bunch of content, maybe even run some ads right away, even if you have no clients, and just try to get the word out there about the fact that you exist. But this is actually all wrong, because what really holds them back and what separates a beginner from a pro is the lack of clarity. They don't really know who they want to work with. And if you don't solve that problem first, if you don't know exactly who you want to help, who you want to serve, it's going to be really difficult to reach them. And you're also going to come across as somebody who just wants anybody. And a coach who is willing to take on literally anyone as a client is really in trouble because they're not focused anywhere. They don't know who they're talking to or who they are trying to reach. So the first big obstacle is really knowing your who. Who do you want to help and what problem do you want to help them solve? I've had clients come to me who have hundreds of thousands and even millions of followers on social media. They have a huge audience and yet they are still struggling to properly monetize it because their offer isn't sharp. They don't know who they're trying to serve. And so it's just attention without any conversion. I remember one generalist life coach that I worked with in particular that was open to anybody and was trying to get anybody on as his clients. And we pivoted. We switched to him working with executives only. And just that one decision alone propelled him from being stuck at barely making a few thousand a month to doing over 30K a month consistently. So these mind shifts and really shifts of direction make all the difference. You could spend 10 years trying to acquire a client, and if you're using a process that is broken and if you don't have a clear target market, then you're just going to spin your wheels. It's a waste of time. There's also a ton of limiting beliefs that play in. So for example, mindset issues such as I'm too young is one that I experienced when I first started. But sometimes it's the opposite. I'm too old, or I don't have any meaningful experience. Why would anybody pay me a high ticket price to work with me and to get coaching from me if I don't even believe in myself? And of course, we have to get this handled first, because if you just go out there and you don't even believe in what you're putting out there, then you're going to have a hard time convincing other people or trying to really show off your value proposition if you don't even believe in it. And this spaghetti at the wall tactic is really the worst thing that I've ever seen. And it's something that I've been guilty of myself, where I would just post every single day, all the time, across every platform, and pray that somebody would see it and go, yes, Raphael, I really want to work with you. I started getting more strategic, and that's what you have to do too. What is higher leverage? Maybe you can land an interview with a podcast host who has 100,000 downloads per episode. Or maybe you could do a YouTube collaboration with a big channel. Maybe you can get permission from a Facebook group admin to post and offer a free consultation to their audience. You see, most coaches, consultants, and online service providers in general make the fatal mistake of trying to reach more people through their channels or posting more through their channels where there really isn't an audience yet. You have to build it up first before those strategies work. If you have 500 followers on Instagram or on another platform, that's not enough to really get attention. Now, I'm not saying that the numbers of followers is what's going to determine how well you perform. As I shared earlier, there are plenty of examples that counter that, but you do need a decent sized audience and you do need attention, but from the right people. So it's better to have less of a following, but more quality in that following, or people who are your ideal prospects. Oh, and before I forget, if you want help personally from me to grow your coaching business, to attract more clients than you can even manage to serve, then go to eraphael.com and follow the instructions there to book a one-on-one call with me or somebody on my team to see how I might be able to help you really scale and grow and build the business of your dreams, something that you're truly proud of, that you love doing every day, and making a positive impact in the world. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of online entrepreneurs, and I want you to be my next big success story. So just go to erafael.com, follow the instructions on that page, and we'll talk soon. Another part of the problem that most people don't realize when they're trying to attract customers and clients in general is that your reticular activation system is probably giving you more trouble than you realize. You might start to see that there are all these people who are your competitors, all these other coaches, for example, that are out there, and why wouldn't people just go to them? Why would they work with you? But the only reason you're seeing that is because you're now in that group. It's just like if you buy a car, you'll probably start seeing that car more often, and it's just because your focus is on it. So don't let your mind trick you or try to talk you into the fact that you can't perform well in this market. Upgrade your skills, upgrade your value, upgrade your positioning, right? You need people to see you as an expert or somebody who can really make a massive impact and difference in their lives with the problem that you help solve. Now, to some of the key tactics that I give that have helped scale so many businesses so quickly. First of all, solve a painful problem for somebody who can afford to pay the kind of price that you want to charge, or at an extremely high volume. You have to realize that if the problem you're solving isn't painful, if it doesn't really alleviate a big issue, then people aren't going to pay a premium because it's not worth the exchange. I remember when I started and I would coach on things such as perspective, although I loved it and it was really valuable and it did make a big impact, it wasn't a big enough pain point to make people pay a premium. But when I started solving the problems in their relationships or in their overall self-esteem and how they really felt about themselves, that deep, empty feeling, that void in their stomach, right? When I started digging into the stuff that really rattled them, all of a sudden I could charge more because the solution that I provided was worth way more. Also remember that the three main profit centers are helping people make more money or get rid of their debt. Secondly, relationships, right? And then the final one is health, mental and physical. If you're a coach or an aspiring coach and you're not working in one of those areas, then typically you're going to struggle. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but just some general guidelines. Now, in terms of client acquisition strategy, a few keys that I use is 1, pick one platform and really master it. Get good in one place at first. For me, the entire first year of my business, it was just YouTube. Just got really good at YouTube, mastered that, started getting clients from it, and then I started adding more platforms as I went along. The same would go for a paid platform. Learn how to leverage money to make more money, to bring in clients at a predictable cost. This is the key to being able to scale and to really reach those 30, 40, 50K months and even more. For me, that started off as influencer collaborations on YouTube. Later, I did the same thing on Instagram, and later on, I started learning Facebook ads and also other advertising platforms. The key here is that if you spend $100, you should regularly make back $300 to $500. So like a 3 to 5x ROI, or at the very least, worst case scenario, you should be doubling your money when you're running ads and acquiring clients. Also considering that you're going to have to fulfill on what you sell, right? So you're going to have to coach the person and get them a result. In my ad spend across all the different methodologies, the minimum ROI is a 3x on every dollar spent. Now, really quickly, how did I get my first client? Well, first of all, it took me 6 months of posting every single day and bashing my head against the wall, not realizing that I was really wasting my time and making my life and business really difficult, until I realized that, hey, maybe I should start to look at what people actually have a demand for. And that's when I started going in personal development forums and really researching the key topics that people were struggling with in the area of self-help. Then I started this, of course, 7 years ago, but I started making videos on those topics and targeting those keywords, and a few subscribers started coming in, also posted those on those forums to attract a little bit more attention. Before you know it, somebody commented and asked me to make a specific kind of video. I made that video, then the person wanted to jump on the call with me, and from there, that was my first client for $160 for 1 month of coaching, and it changed my life. It might not sound like much, but to me at the time, it really changed my life. Since then, I've had clients pay up to $30,000 US for even just 1 month of coaching. Now, of course, in that scenario, I'm usually working with their team and I'm deep in their organization. Sometimes they'll even get percentage ownership in the company or stake in the business, which is really amazing. So some really incredible things have happened on the journey since that first $160 sale to where I am today. The number one key was to just do it. Instead of thinking about trying to get clients, instead of just waiting to be certified or to be ready, I just took action, and anybody can do that. You don't have to wait until you're quote unquote ready. You are ready now. Take action now. Start getting in front of your ideal prospects and really share the message about how you can help them and the problem that you solve for them. And of course, you can do that through free content and everything else in between with paid ads. There are a bunch of methodologies, and some of which I've shared with you today. You apply the ones that you think work best for you, and you pick the platform that you want to do it on. But those are some tips. Hopefully they are helpful to you, and hopefully you enjoyed this.